Good morning, everybody. I'm walking again. I know I haven't posted in a while, so I wanted to post today because I was thinking about the House that passed the big, beautiful tax bill. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, the promises that your president made on his campaign. So I wanted to talk about three of the tax changes that should be happening. Well, that are happening in the bill that they passed. Now, know this, it's got to go to the Senate, which more than likely the Senate is probably going to change. And even if it gets changed, that doesn't mean it's going to get voted into law. So we shall see. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the tax pieces of legislation in the bill. So there are three that I'm going to focus on. And the first one is the 2017 Jobs Act and tax cuts that happened, and they are trying to actually make permanent the tax changes that they made for the 2017 Jobs Act and cut the taxes. So essentially, for those of you who may have not noticed, maybe you did, taxes for the tax brackets are different. So from before this tax change in 2017, depending on where you fell, you've got 10%, 12%, currently was actually 15%, 22% was actually 25%, 24% was actually 28 and 33, and 32% was 35, 35% was 37, and 37 was, I think, 39.42 or something like that. Anyway, it was higher. So when they passed the Jobs Act, one of the things that was supposed to happen was it was a sunset clause. And the sunset clause says that January 1st of 2026, everything would go back to 2017 taxes for all the tax brackets, etc. So what they're trying to do is make it permanent. Now, that's a whole nother conversation in itself. And if anybody knows a guy named David McKnight, who is like, in the financial industry, a guru, one of the things he says is you can't kick that can down the road putting taxes on sale, because that's what they did for the 2017 Jobs Act, was put taxes on sale. And when you do that, that's going to have a rippling effect. But that's another conversation for another day. Just food for thought. So what they're trying to do is make it permanent. So that's the first piece. The next one I want to talk about is the tax exemptions. So on the camping trail, he was talking about not taxing tips, not taxing overtime, and a couple of other things. Well, they've included that. However, it has a clause to it. It only goes to 2028. So you can get the breaks, but up until 2028, then it goes away. So don't know how helpful that is, but I guess whatever. So that is the tax exemption. Oh, and I forgot to add in that they also talk about car interest. But the interest that you pay on a brand new car, only caveat to that is the car has to be American built. So there you go. So that is number 2. Number 3, for those of you that have children, is the child tax credit. Now, they're trying to bump that up, or in the piece of legislation is written to bump it up to $2,500. However, that comes with a caveat too. That ends in 2028. So one of them is permanent, which is the taxes that you get in terms of your ordinary taxes you get charged for, or you're paying taxes towards and not charged. And the other two, which is the tax exemption and child credit interest, they end in 2028. So, not sure how helpful that is, but there you go. So a lot of times people are like, well, what does this have to do with me? Why do I need to know this? things to consider, things to understand, because if it does pass, this is what you're going to get. Now, like I said, it's got to go through the Senate. And so if you've been paying attention to the news, the Republican senators are not really pleased about the bill passing. They want major tax cuts in it, more than what was actually offered. So either way, you just got to wait and see. Now, I will say this. I'll probably come back maybe next week and talk about what the tax cuts are going to be in reference to some of the social programs that they pay for, and what they're talking about. A lot of people are going to be affected if this actually passes. If the Senate does more finagling with it, then this may be worse off than what they already have. But anyway, we'll see. So I hope that's helpful for folks. And I'm going to get back to walking because my arm is tired now. All right. You all have a good day.